fuck's that? That looks come off that there. I'll just clean it off. Who's in? Oh, sure, check. Good evening. Let me get my wee mic in. Lamb corn, good evening. 0031495. That's a different name. Hi Mark, hope you're okay, pal. 2 seconds, I'll get back to that. Caitlin Boyd in the house. Okay, have a look at that. Technology, guys, technologies. Okay, guys, okay. Freedom Dad in the house, along with Matt Sacco 1. They're coming up with some names. Good to see you, mate. Chris. Samantha Henry. Caitlin Boyd. What's going on with the digits behind your names? Foxy lad. Somebody needs to explain that to me. Like, Michelle, how you doing? Good evening. Cooper Scotcher. Looks sharp. Been down this Turkish barbers again. No, from the last time. I got to cut that short. No Turkish barbers. Shangle barbers. The Reaper in the house. Look, you're not late, mate. Look, see, 2 minutes. Won't be home. We'll bit bunk, no problem. I'm not long in myself. Bradford Loyal, good to see you, mate. I know. John Rankin, good to see you, bro. Window Man, always good to see you. Chris, have I missed somebody there? Sander Steele, good to see you. Oh, I need to relax. So hope we're all good. I've actually missed you guys. I've been really, really busy. The legend, the other side of FIFA. Cheers, mate. Cheers. We'll check in at home, no problem. Wee bit bunkers. You just take your time, drive safe, and we'll see you when you get in. YouTube did it. It's like that on a few lives. Freedom Dad. Oh, so that's mental, isn't it? Keep an eye on that. What are they up to? So yeah, guys, I'm only in. Seago, I went hard to find you. Was that good to see you, mate? Seago, it's weird seeing your names with digits behind it. 53 in the house. So yeah, what time did I get in at? I got in at 7:20 and just had my dinner. Freezing out there, it is freezing, yeah. Yeah, we were in the city centre. I'll tell you about it in a wee minute. Thank you, Freedom Dad. Also, no, thank you. Your check. Just wait for the numbers that come in, guys. Sure, sent an email out. Hope you're well. Kirsty, I'm good. Thank you. I am good. I don't want to miss anybody. I'm having pot noodle sandwiches with pot noodle and bread and butter. You can't beat them. Can't beat it. I got email. Good. That's good. So the emails went out okay. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Just bother in, guys. Just the community. It's a community. You all say hello to each other. Well, I had pie. Pie was in the oven for me coming home, and champ Good old champ. Patriot, who's that? Annette, good to see you. Hi, Freedom Dad. BG, good to see you. Philip, good to see you. Freedom Dad, keep the good work up. Always telling the truth. Thank you, mate. Yeah, that's going to get harder and harder as we go along. Like, you know what I mean? But the truth will always be coming this way. Like, you'll always get the truth. You know, some things you can't talk about everything. You know what I mean? It's a problem with content, stuff like that. YouTube. Freedom Dad, you need a cup of Bovril. Haven't had Bovril in a long time, mate. Chris, keep safe, Patriots. Thank you. Roll and pot noodles, good. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's working class. That's a working class lunch, isn't it? 78 in the house, 6 minutes. Yeah, I've missed these. Like, I haven't been doing many lives. Oxo cubes. Oh, fuck, I'll tell you. I can eat oxo cubes. Like, I try not to eat a whole oxo cube, you know what I mean? But, once you take a tiny wee bit, sort of like it's addictive, you know what I mean? So, yeah, probably not the best thing, but yeah, I don't do it very often. Is England till I die in? Oh, is this our Chris? Mr. Lives, FD. I know. Just can't bring lives everywhere I go now. You know what I mean? It's like I say, we're going in the third gear. There's a lot happening, but yeah, still busy. Just can't film. You know what I mean? Like the day once I get 100 and I'll get a wee chappies. Yes, Mr. John Rankin, big up, Chris. Good man, Chris. Good to see you out and about, not in prison. Take you out in Beale or something. You take you out in Beale, aren't you? You're another patriot out in Beale. Isn't it great to see the same names on here? A sense of belonging. Well, that's the whole point of a community. It's been a community that's been long running. There's a lot of people have been here from the start. A lot of new people. A lot of people halfway through. Yeah, that was last night. That was I. We're having a laugh. We were having a wee giggle, guys. Good mate. Good Chris. Good mate. Lives are great. It's like a wee night only. Yeah, it's too cold out there. If the pink are the way forward, pink. Yeah, pink ladies. We're Lady J. Not seen her for a while. We haven't been on for a while, guys. Ragnar, I'm doing good, mate. Doing good. Just really busy. Got stuff coming up over the weekend. It's a christening. My godson. So it's all hands on deck. Way getting suits today. Everybody's getting suited and booted. I was fucking just wanting to wear my green jacket, my green hat, you know me. But I've been told off and I need to wear a suit. Cheers, Gary Stevenson. Cheers. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, that's what everybody's doing right now. Everybody's getting suited. Um, Everything's ready. DJ's hired, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to a good day and a good night. Good to know they won't be flying. Yeah, yeah, that's not happening. I've said that in my last videos. Most of you will know the score. That's the Palestinian flag will not be flying on top of the city hall. I imagine. I imagine the Palestinians will have something to say about it. Cream suit. No, you just need to wait and see. But not only seen Lady J on any platform is what I mean, but not seen. Oh, has she not been on any platform? All right. Oh, Caitlin, haha, no chance. I know that. I'm not being ignorant. It's just the names tagging. Oh, it's okay. Yes, mate, still on bail. 3 weeks left. Then I'll see what they are going to do to me. No surrender. Fight, fight, fight. Okay. Make sure you document it, mate. Make sure you document it. Or get somebody to document it for you. John, if you want to go down there and like do a bit of citizen journalist, you know what I mean? Stick it on your TikTok. I'll share it. This is what it's about, documenting it, interviewing Chris, you know what I mean? What happened? Get his side of the story. You know what I mean? What went down? You know what I mean? Get it from the horse's mouth. You know what I mean? Go into the court, see what the judge says, report on it. You know what I mean? You'd be good at that, mate. Per answer, the Palestinian flags need to fly in Palestine, not Northern Ireland. 100% not Northern Ireland. You know what I mean, guys? It's just crazy. Like going on the 29th anniversary for the flag protest. Yes, sick of the sight of foreign and degenerate flags. David, Nick, how you doing, mate? Good to see you, in, buddy. Much respect to all the Pinkertons and GK. Thank you so much for that. I'm quite sure they're listening, or they'll catch up with it if they're not. Big personal thank you to Philip for the day. So yeah, we're in the town, guys. So there's a post going about in Northern Ireland right now on social media. Good use of worked out, use hours off christening, a good time to unwind. Yes, mate, it is. It is. Um, all right, Noel. Yes, up the da. Pink ladies are the best. Yeah, 29th. Think the pink ladies are rolling again. But yeah, no, we're in. There was a post going about armed police, you know, in at our Christmas market. 2 seconds. Paddy 8. The North will be getting a lot of Southern Irish flocking up there in the near future. Housing and cost of living has gone to corporate levels, which simply isn't sustainable. It isn't. It's the same here, mate. You know, I don't know how long, but we're not much different. You know, there's houses going right now, and you're talking £800 a room, and you're talking 5 6 rooms. You know what I mean? They're like shared accommodation, shared toilet, shared kitchen. You know, that's where we're at right now. So much respect. Cheers, Mason. So anyway, I was in the town. We went to so me and Pinky and we met Glenn. Glenn was going in to see a movie, so we caught up with Glenn and we wanted to go watch No Risk, No Reward about cops in Belfast. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah. So I went into Belfast, into the market to see the and I didn't need to film. Didn't want to do any filming. You know, I just don't know. I'm not one of them content creators that can just jump about filming people going about their business. You know what I mean? That's not really my cup of tea. But so anyway, we went round, spoke to a couple of couple of stall holders that we knew were from Belfast because there's quite a lot of foreigners and all different types of food from all different parts of the world. So I don't mean that in a racist way. You know what I mean? This is foreigners are welcome. Of course they are. This is what we talk about. You know what I mean? It's crazy even having to explain that, but you know the score. You know we're far right and racist. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've spoke to a couple of people who were locals, and just because we know them, we know we can talk to them. We're not going to worry them, or like if you could talk to some, have you seen? Has there been much police activity? So spoke to a couple of stall holders, um, and there wasn't much activity. They were saying no, not really, not inside the market. So we went for a walk outside the market, and lo and behold, we bumped into two TSG. So they're like tacticals, you know what I mean? They're used for quite a lot of things, you know what I mean? But um, I wouldn't want to say that all our police are anti-terrorist as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? You do get a few police PSNI aren't up for the job. You know what I mean? They're not. These guys that we were talking to today, you could tell they were up for the job. You know what I mean? They were there. They weren't stupid. And we had a chat with them. They gave me a leaflet. I'll show you in a minute. We had a chat with them about what the crack was. You know what I mean? What he's looking out for and stuff. And they were like, we're just because they're not going to say to you, oh, there's a heightened thingy, and we're just keeping an eye. And we're worried about terrorist attacks and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? And we did touch on it and talked about it. And yeah, they were brand new, absolutely brand new. Um, we were just talking about the three. It was the three of us then, and one of our boys came along that knew us, and we're all just standing talking. And but they are there. They are there. There was a presence, and there's a lot of undercovers. So they are. Yeah, technical support group. That's what they're called, guys. So yeah, I just want to like say to people that's anybody that watches this, you know what I mean, to feel reassured. You know, I do believe, a lot of people will disagree with me, because it's not the RUC, but I do believe that we have got good cops here. You like really good cops that you would feel safe going to the market. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's I do think our police are different, especially these guys. You know what I mean? These guys were on the ball. You can just tell by talking to them. You can tell. You get a lot more respect. from the serious cops, the ones that are trained for fucking serious situations, rather than your on the beat sort of cops. You know, even though all our cops are armed, every one of our cops are armed. They don't leave the police station without a sidearm. You know, um, but you know, there's also a higher hierarchy of police. You know what I mean? That are specially trained for certain scenarios, and just like in England, you've got the armed police. So it's hard for me to explain it these, because when we say armed police in England, that's, you know, we all our police are armed, but these would be in the same league as your armed police. You know, your armed police. These guys know what they're doing, and yeah, it was good. It was just good to have a conversation with two cops. You know, on a level where, you know, this has fathers as citizens, and not being, you know, obviously they knew who we were. Um, you know, that's just intelligence. We knew as soon as they seen us. You know, what I mean, all right, boys, and they probably wonder what we're up to, because in their briefings we'll be far right. You know, and let's be honest, this is the way they'll be looking at us. We're just like the Irish are trying to create with this fucking make believe new far right terrorist organization, the AOI or something they're called. You know, the I can't remember what they're called, like, but it's just make believe. It's a psyop. It's the government trying to push the far right, and so whenever people see all this stuff about far right and, oh, there's terrorists and they're planning attacks on mosques, it then allows the government to talk about the far right like they want to, you know, because we're not far right. We're just patriots. We're not here. We're not blowing anything up. We're not wanting any violence. You know, we're trying to find a political solution to protecting our lands in the future. That's all. That's all. Patriotism is making sure our country stays the way it is. We don't allow it to be invaded or like overrun or replaced, whatever you want to call it. You know, that's happening in the Midlands of England and parts of Scotland and all over Ireland right now. The fears that we hear and the warnings that we hear coming from patriots on both sides, the mainland and in Ireland, um, is enough for us to, you know, do what we do. You know, there's, you know, no matter what the government does or whatever the papers say, and whoever calls us far right and racist, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because, you know, if at the end of the day we know we're not, and we know what we're doing is the best thing that I could possibly do with my time and on what I've got left on this planet, and that's the truth of it. And that's, you know, when it comes down to the monetization and selling products and everything, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at. I'm doing this. There's nothing else I would want to do, you know. And if I have to eat pot noodles every night to do this, I would do that. You know, there's no two ways about it. Um, it's as simple as that. That's what patriotism is. It's seeing something that's coming, and what drives most of us is because of the way the government are behaving, because of the way the government are trying to silence everybody and tell you everything's okay and diversity's good, and if you call Islam out, you're an Islamophobe, and trying to bring as these crazy laws, so you can't criticize Islam. You know what I mean? Which is profound on any level. That, you know, an ideology just like Christianity, Scientology, Islam, it's all the same. You know, that anybody would think to pick out one of the most violent, without a doubt, in my eyes. You know, even you can people say, yeah, Catholics and Protestants had their troubles. Of course we did, and there was violence. But come on, you know, that's we were Mickey Mouse terrorists compared to these guys, and and that's the facts. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're one of the most violent organizations, like Boko Haram, ISIS, Al Qaeda, Hamas. You know what I mean, and the rest that have come out from a religion, you know what I mean? And, you know, I can't think of any other religions. You know, we've gone through it all. You know, a lot of people, Jews, Christians, you know, Buddhas, Sikhs, Hindus. You know, you're like, you can criticize all them. No problem criticizing them. Nobody's bothered. Nobody cares. But once you criticize the most violent one, the one where the most extremists come out of, that's strange, and that's what drives us. That's frightening. That's telling us that we've got problems, that our government are hell bent in destroying us, because that's how you destroy a country. Whenever people come in and do horrific crimes like they're doing, and your government try to prosecute you for calling it out. So that's the warning signs. That's all you need to know, guys, to understand that there's trouble coming, and it's quite serious. And yeah, so I just want to put it out. You know what I mean? That the Belfast Christmas Market, like no risk, no reward. Because at first, a lot of people were saying scaremongering, scaremongering. Um, it's whether there's a threat or not, who knows? They won't tell us. You know what I mean? They don't want to scare people. They don't want to stop people going into the city. But there is they are they are there. The PSNI are there, and there's also an awful lot of undercover. And I'll show you the leaflet I got if I've still got it in my pocket. Waiting how enough is dying. Have to wait. How long? Yeah, 28204. Fucking hell, man! What's happening with that name? Um, yeah, NHS. That's an argument on its own. So it is. The NHS is an argument on its own. You know what I mean? You could sit and do a whole video on high mass immigration. Is destroying our NHS and costing lives. It's costing lives. You know what I mean? And it's hard for people who have got loved ones. You know what I mean? Like, as you know, every fucking my mum died, I've lost my wife and all the rest of it, you know what I mean? So but I have still got people around me that I really care about. And, I've got my wee lucky and could you imagine this is the scenario we're in. We're in a scenario where people are going into hospitals and seeing waiting rooms half full of foreigners. I've went through it with my baby's mama through the pregnancy. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable, the waiting times 8 9 hours. Some girl 18 19 was there for 10 hours waiting, and because it's a triad system as well. But the thing is if you've got loved ones and you're waiting for major operations and you're going into hospital getting appointments and seeing doctors and getting tests done, and you're seeing the hospital full of foreigners in the waiting rooms, this is hypothetically, okay, just to keep everything right, entertainment and educational purposes only. And you know you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it's too late, and you lose your loved one. You know, there's only one way people are going to look at that. Would my loved one have had that place on the operating theatre if it wasn't for the foreigners coming into the country? And that's the truth. That's people. People can pretend and go, "Oh no, I would never think like that." But if your loved ones, if it's you and you're going through and you see the things that we see, and I'm talking all over England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Ireland, then there's problems. There's problems. We're overrun. And then, I'm not going to go on about the Gaza kids because I've made my point very clear on that. And, but anyway, so this is the leaflet that they were giving out. It said, well, they give it to us, because obviously they know I'm a content creator, you know what I mean? And they probably want me to get the right word out. So yeah, listen, at the end of the day, they're out there on the front line. And, if guys, we've got a love-hate relationship with the PSNA. Some of them can be pretty nasty and some of them can be brand new, just in life, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we're not going to crucify the PSNI when they're standing out protecting our markets from God knows what threats. They're in the front line, guys. They're the ones that are going to save the people if anything did happen. They're there and they're ready. So yeah. So the headline is it's called Project Servitor. So if you want to Google that, Project Servitor, Servator. Okay. And you won't be able to read it because it's backwards, but it says, "Can you spot the plainclothes officers?" So yeah, it's our security operations include search dogs, uniformed officers. To less visible measures, our presence will help keep you safe. So basically, you know, they're flooding Belfast with plainclothes officers, which is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's called Project Servitor. So yeah, you learn something every day, and it's good going and actually finding out on the ground what's actually going on. Because a lot of people were saying it was just they weren't there, and it was just a post that was put up. But no, they're there, and they're keeping an eye on us. Yeah, no Patriots fighting each other, please. No, no, because it's a waste of time. Islam in any shape not wanted, needed, fought back and build in your own countries. Yeah, this is we take the best, we take the best out of these countries and leave them in an even worse state, and then wonder why we're getting loads of people wanting to come and get um, refuge here. I can smell a copper from miles away. They stick like the sore thumb. Yeah, they do. They do. Not for everybody, mate. Big up to both of you all. So yeah, but good wee day. Went for some neat and that. Keith, Freddie Boyd. I moved to Belfast from Dublin 15 years ago and hardly seen a foreign national. Now it's just as bad as Dublin. Freedom Dad, that tall man, Charlie Veach, he can spot an undercover police car via its wee blinky lights on the front. Yeah. The police are keeping their eyes out for young women's safety here in Northampton. Yeah, good. That's good. Jeff White. No, I've walked, not doing Bangor anymore. Not for now, anyway, guys. But yeah, if I'm needed to build numbers up or anything, I will be back. I don't know. I haven't decided completely. Like, if I feel like it, I will. But at the minute, don't feel like going. Soloway 26, like the toothache, LOL. John Rankin 3, I love back in 5th, even backlash. Don't get that Soloway. These are talking amongst each other. So yeah, big, really busy tomorrow, guys. Yeah, I'm going to be helping out with preparations for the christening and trying to keep Caitlin from panicking too much. Cheers, Jeff. You need a Barville, brother. Beef tea, the Reaper. I'm having a wee coffee. Feed him, Dad, chill. I have had a really good week, to be honest with you guys. I've been around some really good people and had some amazing conversations. And hard job, I know, Caitlin. I know. And like I say, everything is going to plan. You know, everything, my plans and where I want to go with the channel and the kind of things I want to do. Like I say, Freedom Dash MT, keep up the good work. I'm proud of you. I'm in Bangor, but I be out in my wheelchair, middle road, Maz. All right, mate. I see you, mate. I see you. Chump is about to meet with man Danny, Freedom Dad. Well, yeah, I think there needs to be words had there. Like, I've been watching that. I haven't been watching a lot, guys. Like I say, there's been a lot of how would you say it? Out and about. Just, you know what I mean. There's a lot of stuff being done offline. Did anyone read that Donald Trump has shut down education system in America? No. Don't be making me an alcohol. I want it sold away. So yeah, what was I going to say there? No, it's been a good week, a good productive week. Have had plenty of rest, driving a lot as a passenger, which is I'm quite lucky that way. Hello, torched cops with remote control car. I don't get that, mate. Touched cops. Yeah, so I'm trying to. So I'm going to be having a drink on Sunday, obviously. I'm still pissed at them. That's stopped my plans to move over to Nornell with their one land vote talk. I know, mate. I know. There must be a way around that. There has to be a way around that. So yeah, like I say, guys, but things change. You know, the Patriot world, everything that's happening, you've got to understand. There's not a man in this planet can predict what way things will go in the situation that we've got in Northern Ireland. It's one of the most complex situations. And like when I talk about spiders' webs and all that, it is a spider's web. It really is like spider's web. Just to understand it has a father, because that's how I behave. I behave as a father who's wanting the best for his daughter, you know, and you do whatever you need to do that. And you look at the world in a way and you see, but where could any problems come from my daughter? That's the way I am. I look about look at the future, look at the government, look at the policies, what's going on. And I think, right, in 20 years' time, when my daughter's 20, maybe wanting to buy a house, maybe getting into a relationship, maybe starting a career or starting a college in the university, what will Northern Ireland look like in 20 years? You know, and that's what drives that's what drives me. And, you know, I feel that without giving away too much, can you say if there is any demos in the pipeline? There's a demo tomorrow at Chimney Corner, and then there's demos on the 29th. But there's something else coming up. I'll message you, mate. It isn't demos, it's something different that's happening. Um, I'll predict exactly how it will go, and I'll be right. Like I say, what I'm talking about, everything changes. You know, everything changes when you look at something, and you think something's the right way, and then you get involved in it, and you become it, and you look at everything around you, and you see how people behave. Then sometimes you need to change the direction you're going in. There's no point wasting your time somewhere if it's not going to gain any momentum, if it's not going to do any good. You know, so it's very important that every bit of my time is done doing something good, you know, doing something that's productive and something that somebody else can pass on, you know, something that will grow. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. And it's learning that, like I say, guys, I don't have the answers. I'm just like you. I'm just a father. I'm just a parent, just like you guys. You guys are grannies and granddads and all the rest of it. And I'm just doing what I can with the capabilities I have of being able to talk, being able to talk to people, being able to pass on the knowledge that I have. Anybody wants to listen, you know what I mean? Talking about social media, you know, talking about what needs to be done, what direction things need to go beyond. Just what everybody should know, but not a lot of people. A lot of people are just waking up in the middle of all this. Mary, hello, Freedom Dad. Any truth to the Somalians living in tents on the Lower Newton Ards Road? Not at the minute. Not at the minute. That's what worries me. There is tents there, but it's not Somalians. So you know, we we do we there's people that have a look. There's guys that walk in and out of the town, and like I say, when the EBFD do their night patrols, they work with these guys. Some of these guys are Polish, Lithuanian, and what you'll find is anybody that's in tents or on the street will not be the guys in the hotels. Just let's put it like that. Whether Somalian, whether they're Iraqis, Pakistanis, trust me, okay, it's as simple as that. We need to worry when we start finding these guys in tents. That's when we really need to start worrying. You know, is that getting away? What do you think about the RE situation? Well, what everybody else is thinking about the RE situation, guys. It's. Is anybody surprised? You know, I've talked about it. You know, I've told you, I've been going on about this. This is what happens. That's happened in England. It's now starting to happen here, and it's the start of it. You know, this is what I keep on saying. You know, we're doing a lot of work right now to do well, not a lot of work, but a lot of talking, a lot of like emailing, and a lot of planning to do with Christianity, the church, and all the rest of it. Um, you know, so it obviously you can imagine how I feel. You know, um, but at the same time, it's down to us to fight against it. You know, there's different things that can be done, um, different ideas that are popping up here, there, and everywhere, and right down to homeschooling. You know what I mean? But it depends how bad it gets, and we'll see how it all rolls out at the end. That's what worries me as well. Freedom Dad, what's my children and grandchildren facing in the future? Yeah, it's Newton Abbey, mate. Chimney Corners, Newton Abbey. You don't intend to be in a minority. I don't intend any of us to be in a minority. Make sure I'm not missing any messages. I have simple question. Why not send them home? Veterans are in France at the moment, making sure the boats get slashed. Yeah, I seen that, mate. I seen that, but this is the problem. Once they're here, you can't just send them home. You know what I mean? There's like we're part of the ECHC or whatever, like Human Rights of Europe, and you know every time uh, a judge if the ports puts down a deporting order, then it gets taken down appeal, and then it goes into European courts of human rights, and because his kids won't get Cadbury chocolate over there, then it's as ridiculous as the most ridiculous excuses. But so we need to leave that. That's one thing that's um, stopping, and there needs to be referendums. That's what I keep saying is what we need in Northern Ireland as well. Referendums to ask the people what they want. You know, um, but yes, where is Glengormy? Missed him. That's something. No, he's still about. He's all good. I speak to him quite a lot. But yeah, like I say, guys, it's what we've been talking about for the last year and whatever. You know what I mean? This is what comes. Like you see, the Easter eggs. Cadbury's is the only Easter egg to have Easter on it, and it's at the top. So whenever they're on the shelves, you can't see Easter egg. Um, you know, we've got Christmas coming up where we're not going to see the word Christmas. You know what I mean? And this is changes that we can stop. You know, these are people who rely on us buying their products. It's as simple as that. They won't. They will do put whatever they want they on them eggs. You know, and but if we don't buy the product, that's it. It's a game's a boogie. All them eggs are going right back to them. Same with anything to do with, I don't know if it was Tesco's. If anybody wants to throw what Tesco's is doing at the minute, I saw the reading went over, knew what was going on. Just haven't saw him active. Yeah, he's on Facebook. WASP guys. Enoch was outside the school again. He's fighting for the kids. Yeah, I'm watching Enoch. Yeah, boycott. That's probably a word you're going to be hearing a lot of soon. So yeah, we will be paying close attention. We will be going in and getting video footage and finding out who is denying us Christmas. My grandfather got a letter from the school today saying they will be doing the usual Christmas activities, and it's not suitable for their child. They can choose to opt out. I will not send cards that don't say Christmas this year. Lower Newton Ards Road, Short Strand, Belfast. You on his Facebook? Good, good. Yeah, he's doing okay. They've had a bit of trouble in Glengormley, you know what I mean? So I have been trying to get through, but I just something else comes up. Christmas cards next, yeah. Happy holidays. I've seen it in London. I've seen it in all these towns. I've seen them burning Christmas trees. I've seen them putting up symbols of Christmas trees. They're not Christmas trees. This is like a metal frame that looks like a Christmas tree. To try and you know keep Islam happy. And this is the problem. These are English towns. This is London. You seen the nick of London's Christmas tree a couple of years ago or last year. It was shameful. And let me tell you this now. There was more decorations up for Ramadan than there was for Christmas. It looked like Christmas and Ramadan, and we were the only country in the world. Please listen to this. We were the only country in the world, London, only city, country in the world that put up decorations for Ramadan, you know? And you can Google that. You can Google that, guys. So, not only are they attacking Easter, the rise of Christ, the birth of Christ, or Christmas, not only are they taking it away from our schools where we don't no longer have the Lord's Prayer and assembly, and we don't have our kids dressing up as Moses and Mary and we baby Jesus and all the rest of it. That's all gone. That's all gone. It's more or less gone. You know what I mean? And like I say, it's up to us whether we're going to let it stay gone. It's down to us as parents, as grandparents, as aunties, as uncles, cousins, nephews, whatever. If you've got a relative in school, then you're invested. You're invested in this. You know what I mean? So it's down to the right people to say the right things. I'm just freedom dad, just chatting to you guys about what's going on in Northern Ireland and what needs to be done. But it's down to people in better positions than me to say these things. management moved carol singers away from the front door of the store, and it was upsetting a certain ideology. Yeah, so years ago, Tesco's in Lisburn management moved carol singers away from the front of the stores as it was upsetting a certain ideology. Yeah, Lisburn Road. Yep. So yeah, like I say, it's difficult for me. A lot of people will be shocked and all that, but I'm not shocked. I know it's coming. You know what I mean? I'm just waiting for the right people to go, whoa, you know what I mean? Because they're not listening to me. I'm just far right and racist, you know what I mean? But eventually the time will come whenever they'll be like, whoa, hold on a wee minute. You know what I mean? So we have got the right people there to go, whoa, hold on a wee minute. So we're just waiting for them, you know what I mean? But like I say, there is huge movements, and I have been traveling to quite a lot of places and talking to a lot of people, and it's been really, I've really enjoyed it. I've really, really enjoyed it. And well done, you opened your legs. Can't say that. Enough is enough. Row, row, row your boats gently back to France. I give to the kids in school for those left fortune so they can run that idea. I still give Christmas stuff in. Yeah, I kicked up hell about that. Good. The only thing needs to be banned at Christmas is Mariah Carey's song. Special needs kids losing their therapy rooms to prayer mat. Well, I've spoke to one of my friends who is can give me answers about stuff like that. So we're looking into all that. You're not allowed to mention that wee bit, bunkers. Cheers, metal man. Yeah, James McConnell's. Yep, yep. Got an eye on him as well. Yes, there's your check. So yeah, like I say, guys. Hopefully we see big movements. Hopefully there's things that you are going to notice coming soon. You know, I imagine as we move forward, as things get worse, you know, because we're not going to when Northern Ireland isn't fucking bound down to any other religion. You know, Protestants and Catholics have never bowed down to each other. We're not going to be as unison bound down to Islam. You know, like I say, we're going to be keeping a very close eye on our churches and the chapels. You know what I mean? Because I believe there's some sort of clause that Roman Catholics their chapels can't be used as mosques. Don't I've heard a few people say this to me. Maybe somebody in the Catholic community can explain it better. But there's something there. I don't know if it's to do with Rome. You know, the Vatican. If it goes back to there, some sort of law amongst the Roman Catholics that their premises couldn't be used, can be like taken over by Islam, and it's only churches that seem to be giving up. I might be wrong, so if anybody can correct me, I'm up for being criticised and corrected, as you always know. Right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, who's this? John Downs. Today I was threatened by 10 Pakistani Muslim for my blogs. Typical. I didn't have my phone with me as I dropped my daughter to training college. I called them out for one on one. Fuck's sake, John. Do you know where it was? Was there any CCTV? Could you not go back and speak to people in that area and see if there's anything at all outside Laganside Court? Didn't notice the email for the live freedom dad and chat. No, no sweat, Gary, mate. It's just been 44 minutes. Timed out. Why is Che UK timed out? Daddy Christmas was always a wee treat during winter, and looking inside your stocking for another bit of coal to heat the fireplace. Not true. There was a brand new mosque in the Vatican. No, I don't believe that. And that surely not. I need to get confirmation on that. Somebody look into that for me, because that's not what I hear. Like, because we need to know all these things. You know what I mean? because the government have got a situation on their hands where these guys need somewhere to pray, you know. And I just don't know how we would react if, like, the Methodist or the Presbyterian Church in the village got turned into a mosque. You know what I mean? I know how I would feel. You know what I mean? The church I was baptized in, christened in, Sunday school, BB. You know, the only memories of my mum was in that church. That'd be a tough one for me. Like, I don't know about you guys. I think it's a prayer room in the Vatican. It's true, John Downs, regarding the Vatican setting aside a mosque area for Muslims to pray in is true. They say Mecca. I point them towards Mackey's. Joey Deacon. Can't say that, Eric. I swear also Muslims are praying at St. Paul's, Falls Road. Also Muslims are praying at St. Paul's on the Falls Road. Yeah, freedom that I saw your old BB hall. So yeah, there's like I say, praying and using a hall or a room, and we do know there's rooms and halls, and we're aware of a lot of things. You know what I mean? But actually, like I take you to the video of the church that they took over, and it was heartbreaking. It was one of the most beautiful churches, and you could see the moment when they went in, and they even tarmacked over graves. You know what I mean? Turned it into a car park. Was they are taking the piss out of us. Yeah, it's the government that's taking the piss out of us. You know what I mean? They can't do nothing without the government. Oh shit, shit! How did I do that? Sorry, wee bit mongers. I don't know. I just done something. Managing is now. I'm managing. Fuck, I don't know what I done there, wee bit. But you're back to normal. That's true about St Paul's and the Falls, mate. But this is what I keep saying. They need some of the prey, and it's not their fault. This is what I mean. You can't hate on these guys for this. It's not. It's not their fault. It's our government's fault for letting them in. The government know they need some of the prey. They know they need to eat halal. They know they will need Sharia courts. They know they don't like walking in parks where there's dogs. And the rest. Our schools. We've got a swimming pool in East Belfast, and they're going in with everything on, and I don't know, like, if you were to go in this swimming pool and try and go in with your clothes in on, they would go off they're not, you know what I mean? Um, it's just changes to society that are strange, you know what I mean? Um, Never mind the women have to wear veils and cover up and walk behind the men and not allowed out unaccompanied by a man. You know, we could go on and on. I'm not going to go into it. It's all different religions have different rules and laws and things that they do. But we got to understand is the Muslim Brotherhood is barred, banned, prescribed in so many Muslim countries around the world. I mean, I don't even know. You would probably be easier to name the Muslim countries. You'd probably Google it. I would Google it, guys. I would just ask AI how many Muslim countries around the world accept the Muslim Brotherhood in their countries, and I think you'll be quite surprised at how many have banned them and treat them as a terrorist organization. America are trying to prescribe them as a terrorist organization, and we're funding them. Our government are funding them, and they're up to all sorts of no good with money from taxpayers. No CCTV freedom dad, children's crash, so no cameras allowed. The Pakistani Muslims at 10 meters from the crash. No right, okay, mate. Got ya. John Wood. I'm a doggy man. Freedom dad, they could eat vegetarian, possibly I have major problem with halal. Well, I don't. I'd imagine, Mary. I would imagine that they practice that. I don't know. That's the kind of thing that would be very private. The FMG was it called again? FGM. I didn't see it, but grateful it was removed. Wouldn't surprise me. I was born Catholic, but I'm a very proud Christian now, and yeah, I live beside St Paul's. That's definitely true. Yeah, we're going to get a few trolls in, guys. If we can have a laugh if you want, like I don't mind. Um, you know what the score when you put up Patriot chats, you're going to get lefties on. You know, so it is what it is. I don't know. They are not here to take part, but to take over. Yeah, with the help of the government. This is the thing. They're not doing it on their own. They're being welcomed in. They're being given loads of funding. Sharia law, theft is punishable by amputation of the hands. See above the Quran 538. Criticizing or denying any part of the Quran is punished by the death. They were in Port Rush in the summer at the beach in full burgers. Yeah, yeah, we got a problem with our churches, guys. You know, we have a church. We have a problem with our church leaders. Our church leaders have failed us. You know, in my eyes, they're one of the most guilty. If I'm pointing fingers at anybody, they're up there, like they're up at the top. You know, I would even question their relationship with God without a doubt. I would question their relationship with Christianity, knowing with the history and what we've been through and the slaughter of Christians in Africa, in the Congo, Sierra Leone and all over Iraq, Syria. Churches being burnt, people being locked in churches while they're being burnt, and people being unalived in the most horrific ways, as we know they do. You know, and seeing a video of a load of women in a cage because they wouldn't convert to Islam, they were about to be burnt alive, and it was just horrific. And this is Islam. This is what's happening all around the world to Christians. But yet here we are, a Christian country, and we're allowing them in. It's the most craziest thing that we will ever experience in our lives. Like I say, I've said this before, like many months ago. This is bigger than anything that we know, and I'm not even talking about the 12th and all that. I'm talking about the world wars and everything. There's nothing like we've never been at risk and in any way or shape or form as much danger as we're in today than before. Nothing's ever came that we've got coming that can so easily it's different. It's like whenever the Brits were fighting the IRA and they were going on about them not wearing uniforms and how hard it is, guerrilla warfare and urban warfare and all that, and how unfair the Fianna were because they were in uniforms and they could be targeted soldiers, but they didn't know who to target because they were dressed as civilians and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? It's the exact same thing, only on our scale. You know, um, it's not the Sikhs. The Sikhs aren't running about burning churches and doing what they're doing. The Christians all around. It's not the Jews. They've got their thing going on with Gaza, which is whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? It's protection of their borders, protecting their people. Um, and you've got, you know, Hindus, Sikhs, you know, also many religions, and none of them are attacking us. None of them. You know, might have a wee odd one here and there. You know what I mean? But that's nothing on the scale of what Islam is doing this. You know what I mean? So, I just don't understand how anybody can think for 1 minute that these guys are going to be different than all the Muslims in the world. The guys coming from Northern Ireland are going to be different from the ones in England. The ones in Northern Ireland are going to be different than the ones in Ireland. No, you got nothing to worry about. They're totally different than the ones in Ireland that are causing chaos. They're totally different than the ones in England that have committed so many horrific crimes against hundreds of thousands of children and women and boys and girls, whatever. There's been nobody left undamaged, no gender, no age group. Um, all, and with the grooming gangs, we can quite confidently say Pakistani Muslim men. That's where we're at today. You know what I mean? That's the facts, And but no, if they're okay. They won't behave like that in Northern Ireland. So yeah, that's what you're being told to believe. And if you don't accept that, you're a racist. If you don't accept that, you're far right. And that's where we're at. And you'll go to prison and they'll use the foreigners against you. They get you in the prison. They get you your bail conditions, you know, to keep you in the house, to keep you offline, to cut your freedoms from communicating in social life because social media is the new social life. No longer do we gather at the street corner, you know what I mean? Um, we gather on spaces on X, we gather in groups on TikTok, and we gather on lives like this on YouTube. And that's the social life of society today. And, you know, men are getting that taken away from them. And I don't think people really understand what it means, because it's a change of era. It's a new era of socializing. Um, it's like, back in the day, it would be like being house arrested and not being nobody allowed to come and see you. That's the equivalent to it. And that would never happen. You get bail or you don't get bail. You got to be in at a certain time in on all the rest of it. You might have a tag on, or stuff, something like that. That was back in the day. That was your punishment. When there was no social media. But now social media is the punishment. No communication. And some people have got some horrific, and it's not just Northern Ireland, England as well. It's the tool that they'll use, and it's the tool that they're going to use to shut us all up. The whole point of this far right terrorism thing is to shut people like me up, because I wouldn't even be surprised if they do a red flag attack, which a red flag is whenever the government commit the offence and blame it on the far right. Attack a mosque or attack a group of Muslims, and what I mean, and the person gets away, and everybody just goes, "That's the far right," and the government told you it's this new organisation. They just released that video, and then they go right, and then they just start targeting anybody on social media, because they'll say it's because of, as the Tommy Robinson got the blame of nearly every far right incident that ever happened in England. Because but one particular time, the guy mowed in a load of people, Muslims or whatever, foreigners, can't remember, and he was on Tommy Robinson's emailing list on Rebel News, Rebel Media, and because he was on the emailing list, he was connected to Tommy Robinson, as if it was Tommy Robinson that told him to do it, and that's what the headlines were. That's how the government ruled with that. And this is what we're talking about as being clever prods and being patriots and doing this, and what we're talking about and trying to get this out. This is what's coming. This is what they do. Everything I've told you has come to fruition, step by step. Everything I've said has come to fruition. The next step is there will be an attack. Something will happen somewhere, and they'll point the finger at people like me. They'll blame me. They'll say it's hate speech and I'm creating division and all the rest of it, and that Islam are the religion of peace. It is acceptable for business to allow daily worship within their premises for Muslim prayers, then restrict Christians from celebrating the birth of Jesus. Up, Patriotic Media. I hope you're good. You've been doing a bit of traveling. It's good to see. Everybody say hello to Patriotic Media. Thanks to Patriotic Media, I'm able to get a wee break right now. My friend told me I should be off Facebook. She doesn't have, so is clueless. I don't even bother trying to explain things. I haven't done it. I'm maybe going to do a wee video for people like that. Why do the prods have the best Indian takeaways? Concert take here. What am I doing here? Whoa. I don't know, mate. I'm not really an Indian guy. You know what I mean? I like the odd tuna. You know what I mean? But or a sag. I like spinach, but I'm not really into Indians. I don't really get an Indian. I get a chippy before I get an Indian. Why has the Palestine population increased? Does genocide no longer mean what it used to? I can't answer any questions about Israel and Gaza, because it's nothing to do with me. I have no clue, and I don't want to know anything. You know what I mean? I'm quite happy dealing with Northern Ireland, and that's enough for me to be getting on with. But you know, like I say, we've got this thing in Northern Ireland where they fly fucking Palestine flags, we fly Israeli flags. I heard Tommy is going to have a Christmas gathering in London. Yeah, there's a possibility. I haven't heard myself, to be honest with you. Matt, you certainly are on the verge of hate speech, I believe. I'm on the verge of hate speech. So answer me this. The country's fucked, but it's not the immigrants' fault. It's the rich English. Yes, okay. Right. So tell me this. What kind of speech would be suitable? What would you want me to do? Would you not want me to bring the grooming gangs or the evidence of the statistics of how many foreigners are committing crimes in countries? Do you not want me to tell you how many foreigners are claiming benefits, how much it's costing us per month? Do you not want me to point these things out? Like I've always said, it's not my fault. It's not me. It's not their fault, but it's there and it's happening. So it needs addressed. We've got more people dying than we have getting born. That's a decline in population. At the same time, we've got a rise in their population when they're having 3 to 4 children compared to our 1.5. Their stats that should scare the life out of you. If you're a fucking parent, you should be like, fuck hate speech. Say fucking whatever you need, boy. You shouldn't be saying you're on the verge of hate speech. You know, it doesn't. It's not about pointing the finger and who's to blame and all the rest of it. When we're asking these guys to be deported, we're saying sorry, mate. But you shouldn't have came here in the first place. You were brought in here by a traitorous government. Give us that passport back. That's not hate speech. That's just fucking common sense. That's common sense politics. That's protecting your children. That's protecting your grandchildren. That's protecting your country, your culture, your traditions. It's protecting everything that you know and grew up with through the years, what your mothers, your great grannies and granddads fought for and died for in the First World War, both sides, Protestants and Catholics. You know what I mean? I know it's like a cliche. Oh, they'll be rolling in their graves. They will be fucking rolling in their graves. These men didn't die for Islam to come in and take our churches. These men didn't die for Islam to come in and take our Christianity out of our schools. This is reality. This is what's happening. It's not make believe. It's not far right. It's not me hating on anybody. That's what's happening. I don't want to lose my fucking Christianity. I don't want to lose my churches. I want a revival in Christianity. I don't want an attack in Christianity. It's just so there's surplus for Islam to come in, because that's what's happening. We're being attacked by all directions. We're not allowed to have children. There's no Bible studies. When I grew up, Christianity was everywhere. Now it's Allah everywhere. Billboards, massive billboards with the word Allah from Scotland right down to England. Come on the fuck, guys. Sorry for swearing. I'm going to try and stop swearing. But I do get wound up. So I do when people say, fucking do your research, guys. You know what I mean? I bet I met more bad spuds from home than I have Islamic folk in real life. Yeah. What's your real life, mate? You know what I mean? Where is your real life? Where do you live? Go to Luton, right? Go to Rotherham, go to Rochdale, and come back and drop a comment. Okay. That's the real life I'm talking about. That's what's coming. Not your leafy suburbs, not your Hollywoods, not your Malone Roads. You know what I mean? We're not at that stage right now, but that's what we're getting. That's what's coming. The Newry, the Ballymena, the Portadown, Rotherham's, Rochdale's, the village. It's not like they don't fucking just integrate into society and start marrying our women and all live happily ever after and we have mixed marriages. No, they don't. If a woman wants to marry a Muslim man, they need to convert to Islam. It's as simple as that. And that's not good. That's not good for Christianity. So yeah, whenever we're talking about real life, mate, please have a look at real life. Don't just look out your door and look right and left. Go look what's coming. Just because it's not in your street doesn't mean it's not coming down the main road. But no, I appreciate your comment. I'm not having a go. You know what I mean? I just get frustrated, mate, because I've got a wee girl. I'm invested in this, and I hear you what you're saying, but you're not. You got blinkers on. They're targeting your empathy. You're a good person. I get it. I get it, mate. I understand, Matt. You've got a good heart. I get it. I'm the same, 110%. But we can't let them use our empathy to destroy us in the future. That's mental. That's mental. There's no good comes from this. There's no good. Right? Simple as that. There's nothing good coming for Christianity if we keep going down the road of opening our doors and our cities and our towns and our streets to Islam. And that's just the way it is, because they will grow, because they will have 3 to 4 kids to our 1.5. So eventually this will be an Islamic state. England will be an Islamic state in 40, 50, 100 years' time, without a doubt about it. You do the math. The math don't lie. The math do not lie. You just gotta get a calculator, find out the population, find out how many, get the true facts of how many are in the country. That's the secret of getting the true facts, and then sit and do the math. 1.5 children to their 3 to 4 children, and then take into account deaths and births. How many of us are dying compared to how many of us are having children? Put that into a calculator. Do a graph. You will be surprised how quickly it goes boom. It's gradual, and then just goes boom. Where there's a complete. They're talking 15 years. we're 15, 20 years in England for where they're not a majority any longer. No, I know that, Matt. I know that, mate. I know. Just don't get used. I know, mate. It is difficult, but like I say, you have to go and travel. You need if you can, I can't. You know, if you've got to watch. You've got to research. You got to. I can't do it all for you guys. What makes you a Christian? Believing in God, leading a Christian life, asking for forgiveness, and being born again. I've talked about it before. God's inside us all. Matt's only here to wind you up. He's not winding me up. He's not. He's not. He's not. I'm all good. Because there will be people sitting there thinking like Matt, you know, thinking, he's just far right. He's just, you know, I mean, I walk outside and it's fucking brand new. Nothing wrong in my area. You know, the guy, that wee Muslim guy down there is really nice. Yeah, and they are really nice. There's some amazing Muslim people. But the problem is when they come in their thousands, like we've seen in England, things change. You know, things will change. Extremists will come, and you know, moderate Muslims, as I've told you, they can't go up against the extremists. You believe in Christian life, didn't you go to jail? That's correct. I did. I did. And just as on Calvary, when God turned to the thief to his right and told him God loves him and forgives him. Tough being a Christian when I wouldn't eat food in any of the places after Roma. Sinn Féin advocated for the end term. There's no such thing as a moderate Muslim. There is. There is. Like, if you need to meet Labuna, an absolutely amazing Pakistani Muslim who's got her own YouTube channel, Labuna's Talks, I think it's called. If you put it in LUB, UNA, Labuna, if you put that into YouTube, you'll find her, and give her a watch, guys. They will come with a smile on their face and take the country over just like the English missionaries did. Down south isn't England, though, and we see what open borders Sinn Féin are allowing to travel down to Dublin illegally. Labuna, Lubna, thank you. John Downs, to all patriots, keep believing, keep backing those who back those friends, different religion communities. I'm glad to have met CJ, Glenn, Stephen, Pinky, Neil, Eddie. We're all patriots. John, it's been an absolute pleasure having you down, and we're looking forward to seeing you again, mate. Maybe we'll take a wee run up to see you sometime, but they'll be telling the IRA because they bored me. Would you not do a wee Bible study some night for them, Dad? No, there's plenty of guys that are doing that, and I'm not going to go into it, but I do speak to a lot of people about this, and there's method behind my madness. Moderate Muslims, the grass that hides the snake. Candid with Labuna. Thank you, Waza. Yeah, I subbed to her. Yeah, Candid with Labuna. Guys, you've got to, if you've got any doubt, you know, this is something that you've got to have. This is a wee message here. You've got to have the knowledge and the understanding of what Islam and what it means. You know what I mean? And how extreme it can be for Muslims themselves, and how hopeless and defenseless this is. So let's talk about Labuna. Labuna is a Pakistani, second generation Pakistani woman from Luton. Okay. And she spoke out about the grooming gang. She spoke out about the behaviour of the community. She tells you straight how bitter and extreme the Muslim community are. Because of her truths, she's now being hounded and threatened and all sorts, you know. And I personally think she's one of the bravest women in England, you know, without a doubt. You know, what she's put herself through by being open and honest about her own religion is remarkable. And I honestly, you've got to watch. You've got to go and have a look at her, look back at some of her stuff, and I think you will be you'll be surprised. And Labuna tells you herself, just like I tell you, The last census that was done, it was 3.5 million Muslims in England. She reckons, just like I do, that it's twice that amount. Okay. Quite a lot of Muslims who speak out against Muslims believe that the government are lying or won't give the figures or haven't got a clue how many Muslims. But the Muslims who are speaking up against the extremism are being honest. They're saying, whoa, there's a lot more than 3.5 million Muslims in this country. You off your nut, So that's a problem. Not knowing the figure means the math, when you do the math, you know what I mean? When I talk about the deaths, the births, the marriages, and all the rest of it, and how many children they have compared to us, and the whole thing about children, our children, we've been told, we've been capped. Also Muslim aware of your gang's verified source, yeah, and that stats are off all right. The stats are horrific, horrifying, and this is why they don't want you to know, because they've done it. It's done. England's done. The government knows what they've done. The only way they can stop it is by deporting. There's no two ways about it. You know, they need to either have deport or they need to have a birth race. There needs to be something done, and they don't have the money. The population growth is already overwhelming everything. So it's not like they can go, oh, okay, Christians and white people and all the rest of it. There you go. Have as many kids as you want. We'll pay for every child that you have. Let's lift our birth rate up. So then you'd have families with 3 and 4 on our side. Then the Muslims would be having 3 and 4. Could you imagine the population growth from that? The reason why we were capped was because of the population growth, and obviously for money as well. But now they've capped us, and I imagine that there is loopholes for Muslims because of their religion, that they will be getting financial help for having 3 or 4 children, and the rest. That's average, 3 or 4 children. You know what I mean? So that's England. That's England, guys. That's we've only got 1.5 million. I don't know what the current population is. There's only 1.5 million of us in Northern Ireland. How long do you think it would take for one Rotherham, one Luton would devastate this country? In the future, if you had Ballymena turned into just all Muslim, our country would be devastated. In 20 years, 30 years time, we would have fucking problems. Our children and grandchildren would not be able to deal with it, because look how hard it is for me to deal with it. And we've been brought up through the troubles. Look how hard they come at me. Look how many people are come up against me, try to stop me, try to put me down from all directions. So imagine what our children will go through when Islam is actually established in Northern Ireland. It's not even worth thinking about, guys. It's not even worth thinking about. If you don't, it's not getting at you what I say. I just put it out there. No, Soloway, this is what it's made. This is freedom, Dad. Freedom of speech, guys. This is why, like the trolls, I don't mind people coming in, because a lot of moderators, there's some guys come in and they come across as trolls because they just question what I'm saying, or they think I'm racist, and they want to come on and just fucking ask or find out what the crack is. They see like the videos getting done by the dissidents and all the other headers and all the madness that's put out there. You know what I mean? So obviously, like, I've got people tagging me everywhere as well. So anybody that puts anything bad about me, then I'll just make sure everybody get my platform down there. So at least the haters are bringing me supporters. You know what I mean? There's nothing I can do. I can't stop anybody saying whatever they want about me. There's nothing they can say whatever they want. They can imply whatever they want. I've got no control over that. Absolutely zero control. All I can do is say I'm here. You know where I live. You know where I am. You've got the balls, come and say it to my face, because you look really stupid talking about me behind a platform. You just look like a yellow belly. You know what I mean? A scaredy cat. Fuck's sake. And it is, and that's what everybody thinks. You know what I mean? If you got a problem with freedom, Dad, and you feel you need to spout about it online behind a camera in the safety of your wee home, then you just look like a yellow belly. Freedom Dad's here, there, and everywhere. You just need to message me, and I'll meet you anywhere you want. I'll tell you where I live. Come up to my door. Come up to the car park, whatever. You know what I mean? But this is where we're at. You know what I mean? This is the problem that we get with the internet. They forget. They get a wee security thing. You know what I mean? They get mixed. They get confused with reality and the internet. and there's nothing I can do about that. I'm just me. I'm here. I ain't going anywhere. And yeah, I can speak. I can speak. I can do videos. I can defend myself. When the papers are calling me the Shankill Butcher's nephew, I'm able to tell you I'm not the Shankill Butcher's nephew. You know what I mean? I'm able to reply to stuff like that. And this is the problem they have. You know what I mean? And I've been around a long time, and a lot of people know me. And at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do or say. Like I say, all they do is embarrass themselves. Time and time again. Everybody's just looking and going, what are they all about? So um yeah, this is how tough it is. Obviously I'm used to it. I find it quite funny if stuff said about me in videos. They've screen record. I spread it out. I send it to my mates, and get it, because I do think it's funny. It's fucking, some of the stuff is right out there. And it also brings us followers. We get followers from it. The best thing, like the papers, always put my name in. You know what I mean? I think I've had about 2 or 3 thousand followers from the 12 different front pages I've had. And I'm waiting for, I'll explode. There's only a matter of time before they do something that's going to make the platform explode. At the end of the day, like I say, I'm ready for everything and anything. We have the receipts. They don't. And this is what's good about the Freedom Dad team. We are very tight knit. We have been tested and tried over and over again, and we've got absolutely no leaks at all. And it makes me so proud that I've managed to find the people that are around me. I've grew up with, I mean, the people who are trustful in my life that are around me right now, I've grew up with. But other guys that have come in through into the Freedom Dad team, who have known maybe their parents, you know what I mean. They're like, I'm so lucky to have so genuine, decent, loyal men and women around me, and that's difficult in this day and age, But I think it's the topic and the genuinely, when they know me, people know me, and people on the streets that properly know me, they know, he's a good lad. He's never done a bad. He's never done nothing bad. There's, yeah, I was a bank robber, right? Okay, yeah, involved in the troubles. Okay, brought up in the 70s in the village. Okay, big deal. Yeah, nothing I can do about that. God will judge me, all the rest of it. But, there's nobody can say I've ever ripped them off. There's nobody can say I've ever stuck them in. And there's not a person or a woman or any ex-girlfriend can ever say I've done them a wrong turn. And that's very important. You know what I mean? That makes a man, and that's how I'm able to sit here and do this. Yes, I know I'm not perfect. Yeah, I've said that over and over again. None of us are. But, you know, it is even harder for me to do this because of my background, because I know what I get. I know what comes. I know what they have. You know what I mean? And they know, and they will use everything to stop me and to bring me down. And it's quite remarkable how hard they've went. How the people that they've used in my community. Some people in very high places. You know what I mean? I believe in the Patriot world, and yeah, it's been an eye opener. And it's to me it's a mistake. They made a big mistake because they've opened a can of worms that we can now see, and we learn from it. And as we go forward, we take notes, and eventually they'll show themselves properly. The spotlight will shine right on them, and we're ready for that time to deliver the receipts when that time comes. Because I'm not here, to be treated in any way than a patriot who's loyal to any man who's going to fight for my daughter. Anybody who goes up against me is fighting against my daughter, and I'll never forgive them. No matter how they pretend to be good people and all the rest, and they're doing this and that, I'll never ever forgive them. Because you've went up against my daughter. So you've done it. It's too late. There's no going back. You know what I mean? But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I take the flack for my daughter. I take the hate for my daughter. But on the positive note, as everybody knows, it's around me. I can't leave the house without people coming up and shaking my hand, give me cuddles, and tell me that's not what I'm doing every single day, everywhere I go, whether it's taxis, whether it's in a train station, whether it's walking down the street, whether it's going into a shop, or whether it's walking through the city centre. It's just constant. So that's the positive side of it. You know what I mean? And that's what drives me. People on the street coming up and saying, "Fucking love what you're doing." When I go to meetings and cultural nights and Ulster Scots nights, people always come up straight away and go, "Freedom Dad, really nice to see you here." Other events I've been to, you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. Humble humble. To me, because I don't deserve it. I do not deserve it. I'm just here doing a. I'm just doing a. I'm just being a father. I'm not fucking trying to make money. I'm not trying to be the big guy. I can't be fucking ass with it right now. To be honest with you, like it is getting a lot. The flack from the papers and all the nonsense and fighting. It is getting too much, and there's bigger things. There's bigger goals. You know what I mean? And all it is sent me back a wee bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, go Freedom Dad, you the man in ladies' clothing. Thank you, good Charlie. You always come out with the most amazing comments. Catholic here, but more aligned with DUP. Catholic here, but more aligned with DUP. Well, just hold that thought. Just hold that thought. There's a lot happening in politics, and I will be bringing what I can and bringing honest opinions and letting you know what's out there and what's available. you know, yeah, Charlie, not giving up, never happening, never happening. Death will protect the vulnerable. Yep. Yeah, so like I say, guys, I'm not going to be telling anybody what way to vote. I'll give my opinions on what's best for the country. And right now, I have not got a clue. I'll be totally honest with you. We've got Advance UK coming into Northern Ireland, and I really don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm genuine. I've fucking spoke to so many people, and I have to say, more people are saying it's a bad thing, and it's going to split the vote, and it's going to give Sinn Féin Alliance and all that an advantage. But then again, there's other people who I have a lot of respect for who are saying it could work, and if it could work, then I'll get behind anything that can work, you know what I mean? And that's where I am with that. I'm not going to make any decisions on how I'm going to talk about it because I don't know enough about it. I need to see who's involved, what their plans are, and we'll take it from there. And we'll also take advice from a lot cleverer people than me. And then once I get that advice, I'll pass it on to you. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Charlie. Theft of Spunham. Yep, yep. I've seen that one. I've seen that one. It's cast from Where's Mohammed? We soon know she'll. Yeah. I don't. I don't know. I'll have to see what I can get done tomorrow, Charlie. I've got loads to do tomorrow. Um, I'm helping. I'm helping Caitlin with the stuff for the christening. And we've got to prepare. I can't say where it is or what's going on. Obviously, if that's fucking crazy. But yeah, it's a big thing, big deal. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. Christenings are a big deal. Never trust the lefties with your kids. Michelle, stay warm, lovely. So hopefully, what I mean, if I can get what I need done, but I'm not going to leave anything to chance, what I mean, going to Chimney Corner and then, because I like to spend a wee, I would need to be straight there, straight back again. I've got everything else is ready. The suits are ready. Everything's ready. Couple of other wee bits and pieces need picked up, but yeah, everything else is good. So we'll see. Exabella, Kai Freedom Dad, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Good, Charlie. Good. Well, Patriotic Media will be there, so she will. So go up and say hello to Patriotic Media. And guys, if Patriotic Medias are, go up and say hello. If you're up for like saying hello on camera and like just let her ask you a couple of questions why you're here, Freedom Dad, the birth rate is down in Northern Ireland because of the invention of rubbers. I don't use them because the wife doesn't like the smell of burning rubber. Yeah, man. I can't wait to see you in suit. I know. Not many people see me in a suit, apart from a judge. 2 rates ago, I look out for everybody's kids as well as my sister's brother's kids. Always done. Well done, mate. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Don't worry about the thumbs up, guys. Honestly, it's just this is our wee community. Everybody that should be here is here. This isn't a channel that is ever grown. This isn't. I don't do things in a way where I want fucking to be massive. You know what I mean? I send you to other channels for that reason, so I can relax a wee bit. British Lauder covers everything. I hope you have watched British Lauder's video of Mahood. John Rankin or any of my wee bit bunkers, anybody that's there, if you can find the British Lauder's video 2 or 3 days ago about Mahood's new laws that she's bringing in regarding immigration. And you need to watch it, guys. This is what I mean. It saves me having to do it because he delivers it in a far better way than me. Dino Bean is another good guy, very honest guy. Not he says things that you might not agree with, but you've got to see over that, guys. You've got to. A lot of people get hung up on certain things. So, like a Freedom Dad. So, let's take me for example. Say you go onto a channel and they're bad mouthing Freedom Dad. They don't like Freedom Dad, but that's okay for them not to like me. It doesn't mean you don't have to. You stop watching them. You know what I mean? It's just their opinion on maybe something I've said, or they just don't like a bank robber, or they just don't like a criminal being having a YouTube channel. It could be something as simple as that, which is fair enough. You know, they've went through their life, living their life, law abiding, paying their taxes, and doing everything that they're meant to. Then I can understand where that hatred can come from. I've seen it. I've grew up with it. You know what I mean? Um, so it's the same thing with these other channels like Zidane being. I know that he done a video there, not calling Tommy out, but showing a video that Tommy talked about where Muslims were welcome in England. Obviously because he's not far right. You know what I mean? And it's not news to me. You know what I mean? But I think it came across as if he sort of saying one thing and then saying another thing in Israel. I'm not too sure if that's the case. But Dino being they'll call it. So a lot of people, he got a lot of hate for that. You've just got to see past that. He's allowed an opinion. We're all allowed an opinion, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? But yeah, Dino being there's the YouTube. There it is. Our wee bit bunkers has put it up, guys. If you want to click that link now, and if you click the link and watch 2 seconds of it, it'll be in your history, so you can watch it later on if you want. But it's definitely worth a watch. You must watch it, and that explains exactly because it's quite ridiculous. A woman can have one husband who can have up to 5 wives. Muhammad can have more. A man can beat his wife for insubordination. Oh, I know all that. Right, give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to get a fag and a coffee. So, who's EMF? Who is EMF? What have you got to say, mate? Something about me having a real job or something? A woman cannot speak alone to a man who is not her husband or relative. I know, Jeff. Thank you, wee bit bunkers. Basically, that whistle through front teeth. Tulip bunny. Yeah, dogs on best behavior. Yeah, I know, Lady J. I know. In 2 seconds, guys. So yeah, guys. I've been busy. Like there's something coming up soon. I am going to try and get it set up in a way where we can at least video some of it. But yeah, mate. How's Stephen? How's the form, mate? Hi, all good, all good. So we have got stuff coming up. Like really like doing a lot. Been asking EMF who he's talking about. Clearly a clown. No, don't let me see EMF. If he's a troll, Let him troll. Let him try and troll. Freedom Dad. Um, yeah, as long as it's not silly, you know what I mean. Keep it proper troll. We need a proper troll. Super Patriot's gone. I think he's used a different name. I mean, man, just asking a question. Ask away, mate. Ask away. You're not a troll then. You're just asking a question. Go for it. I'll ask you any question. Troll away. Good one, Charlie. Troll away. Yeah, so yeah, I've been busy. We are quite a lot of us are busy, and we've got something coming up. Something hopefully will do us a lot of good, everybody. And hopefully, like some of these things I'm going to, I want a video. Man, get a pic of Freedom Dad in his tin flute. Yeah, yeah, John Rankin. You'll get a wee picture, so you will, mate, no doubt. But yeah, it's just like it's cultural stuff, guys. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody, but um, it's just something. It's a means to an end, so it is, and it's something that's fell into my lap that I'm going to take full advantage of for everybody. But we will do it in a way. I have been speaking to the guys that do it, and we are going to organise a way of getting it on video. You know what I mean? The thing about doing videos as well is I don't want to take the limelight. I want people to go and see these guys and listen to these guys. You know what I mean? I don't want them just to watch it online. I've been bought from Muslims to pay 325,000 starting offers. Pure mad. Where's That's a tricky one, Sean. Um, I like purple, orange, and I like army green. There you go. Yeah, you thought you were going to catch me there, eh? That was a good question, but some people can't get their heads around what's happening. Can you imagine if they knew about the true evil that are trying to rule us? Oh, there's if they knew the truth. I don't think he's ready for the truth, guys, of what's coming. Army green. I know, mate. I know. I know. I love orange and purple. Yes, I like orange. Orange, yeah. I like orange is a summertime color in it, guys. You know, we were feeding the homeless earlier. The amount of homeless people from here lying on the streets, I know it's heartbreaking. I was in the town today. I was in the town today. We always try and help the guys out. If we don't walk by. I mean, we were when was it? We were in the town the other day, and the guy was sitting, and it's all white guys. It's all Northern Irish guys. You know what I mean? Protestants and Catholics. It's on the streets, guys. That's what you get in Northern Ireland, like. And some woman fucking was nasty to him. And we heard him going, "You don't need to be rude." So I think it was Pinky, and Pinky gave him a few quid. You know what I mean? And then we've been in the town. CJ, me, CJ, and a few others all give homeless guys a few quid. But like I say, I have got people planning to come on. So I do. I've got some quite controversial people planning to come on. Um, Freedom Dad brings the truth. Cali, what? All right, mate. What do you think of Enoch Burke's situation with the Irish government is doing to the family? Your work online is brilliant. Keep it up. Yeah, I've done a video about Enoch Burke. I don't, that's the Irish side of things. Like, no offense, but yeah, that's the Patriots in Ireland. They're doing a great job. You got no risk, no reward. Covering a lot of the Irish stuff. I don't have the energy to cover everything, but I have covered it. I have done a video about Enoch. I brought him to my platform. Um, But yeah, I've a lot of respect for the man. AP Audit's video, folks sleeping in the streets, it's a disgrace. Thank you, wee bit. Feeling dad talks in the heart. Thank you, mate. Cheers, Collie. FD, you do amazing. Pinky are legends. Can't say it enough. Every one of them. I have to tell you. I have to tell you this. Like, you know, I mean, we're walking down. I can't remember when it was. It was a few days ago, and a couple of girls at the bus stop, and they were like, "You're the two most famous people in East Belfast." I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, man!" A lot of people would disagree with that, but it is nice. It is nice. We have a laugh. We joke about it. We don't take it serious. You know, we have a laugh amongst ourselves about it all. Yeah, full respect for CJ. Yeah, CJ's doing a great job. James Cahill, good to see you, mate. Good to see you, James. I don't know if you're just in. Up the EBFD, well said, Lady J. EBFD Pink. Grew up with them my whole life. Gentlemen, run to the end of the earth for you. Yes, you're bang on, mate. But I have to say, there's nobody more famous than Glenn Kane. There's nobody going to beat Glenn Kane. Saxon, yeah. So why have the PSNI deployed specialist firearms officers to the Belfast Christmas market? Can the normal armed cops not do the job? What do they know? John Rankin, big up the EBFD, right? So basically, guys, you know, um, the PSNI aren't the RUC. The PSNI haven't been through the troubles. The PSNI are just a police force who have guns, you know, which is pretty dangerous, you know what I mean? Especially when you see some of these guys, you know what I mean? It would worry you. But the tactical units that are we're seeing, like, because I've noticed there's a lot of uh, tactical units that are stopping cars, right? And there's been quite a lot of posts in all different areas where they've made it public knowledge that the TGU units or tactical, whatever they're called, they're standing out, stopping cars for car safety, you know, and we know they're not. They know there's an increase of activity coming from the NLA, and they've been planting pipe bombs out all around. We're patriots, Catholic patriots, right, in Catholic areas. And as you know, they did come out and give a threat, so they're carrying out that threat, you know. And you won't know this, but we know this. There has been a spate of bomb disposal teams all around Belfast in the last 3-4 weeks. So the tactical guys have been out pretending to do traffic work, but really they're looking for what we would call kill teams. You know what I mean? They put it in the terms that we use. Yeah, they're looking for guys that are out about to do a bit of damage. You know, whether it's through intelligence or whether it's just they're just casting an net out and see what they can pull in. But yeah, to go back to the Christmas market, obviously every Christmas market is a target because it's a Christmas market. It's a symbol of Christianity. No matter what town it is, no matter what it is, it's a symbol of Christianity. So it is to attack a Christmas market for an Islamist and extremist. It's there's no question. There's no, oh, was it somebody, when you see when things happen, oh, was it that somebody drunk and lost control, or was it somebody had a heart attack and run into hundreds of people? When they hit a Christmas market, they know that the news headlines is going to be terrorists, Islamic terrorists have attacked. They know straight away. There's no messing about. So that's one of the problems. It's because it's a Christmas market, because it's a symbol of Christianity, and it's just one of the biggest targets that they have. You know, um, like I say, they don't want to scare people, but they are there, and it's not like our Christmas market is going to get attacked specifically, but I am going to say this. there is a possibility, and I say this with a very heavy heart, and it's unfortunate, and but I am going to put this out there. There is a possibility because of the rise of patriotism in Northern Ireland and the anti-Islam rhetoric, which is coming from the patriots on both sides of the border. There is a possibility that we could be targeted. Um, we're not stupid, but we don't do these things for that reason. It's not our fault that because we're speaking out and speaking up against the threat that we see it's coming, that is quite liable to put us in the firing line for a target. But I would ask the people this, would you rather we were quiet and saved our market, but yet destroyed our country in the future? That's the way I look at it. When I sit down and think to myself, right, it's come up to Christmas, we got Nikki, doing that speech last week, and me supporting her, and totally understanding and saying yes, she's right. There is a problem with Islam. Nobody else will tell you, but we are telling you there's something really, really wrong here, and you should be aware of it. You know, at the end of the day, we can't not do that. We can't say, oh, let's just say nothing because we're scared of them attacking us, targeting us because we're speaking up so vocally. That's how countries are taking over. You know what I mean? So it's not happening. We're not going to be silent. We are aware of the consequences of our actions, and we don't mean that. All right, son. You been doing the weights? You been doing the weights? You're in a gym, man. Jeez, oh, boys are getting big. Aye, aye. Puppy fat's gone now, kid. Is there no community patrols in national areas like the unions? Yes, there is. Saxon, go to my Facebook. I put a post up tonight about that. Um, and it's a strange one. I don't know what they're patrolling, but they're in Londonderry/Derry to keep everybody happy, guys. It's like it's in the bog side, and they're coming out. They're all dressed in black, and they're doing exactly what the EBF done, exactly the same thing, photographing everything. The boys walking down the street. They're probably doing videos as well, and they're on their TikToks. We haven't found their TikToks yet. We are looking for their TikToks. Excuse me, but they've put a post up, on their Facebook page. This is the bug side I'm talking about, and these are dissidents, So they're not patriots. I don't think. I can assure you, they're not patriots. But the point is, will will our crime correspondents be reporting on these vigilantes walking about the streets of the Bogside? you know, will Nolan be on this on Monday going, "Oh, these boys in the Bogside walking about, kidding on"? Are they going to be targeting and photographing every one of them and going, "Well, he's been done for that. He was up in court for this." You know what I mean? Because that's what we got. That's we every single person was targeted. You know, it's we've been attacked from every direction. The EBFD were attacked from every direction, and we've now got three Pinkertons on bail conditions on the most ridiculous. Two is like, the payout. Let me just put it like this, right? I'm telling you this now, as a guy that knows the score when it comes to this carry on. It'll be a healthy wee payout. At least two of them will get, because they were targeted because they were Pinky's brothers. That's all it was, and they hadn't a clue. They had no clue what's going on. They were just like, oh, they panicking. They didn't know what was going on in East Belfast. Because it was so much going on at once, and and Pinky was just doing his night patrols. That was it. Him and the boys were going out at night and walking about with the dogs, and having a crack and speaking to people coming out of the town, women escorting women back. There's a cracking video, the fucking cracking video of this guy walking about right in East Belfast, and the boys are like, "Oh mate, what's happening? You lost and all that?" And the guy's a white guy, right? A white guy. Because this is the ironic of it. Whenever the newspapers and Nolan and all the rest of them, I'm not going to name them all, but we're saying, "Oh, they're out targeting Muslims." You know what I mean? And we know different. Because they've got all the footage. I've seen it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's quite remarkable. And it was all put out anyway, everybody's seen it, before the government got their TikTok shut down. But this guy was looking for a brothel in East Belfast that nobody knew about, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, it was quite funny. So he's walking about, looking at his phone, trying to find this brothel, you know, and eventually he was making up all sorts of excuses. He was looking for an Uber. There was an Uber coming for him, you know, and the boys were like, "Are you looking for a brothel, mate?" And he's like, "Yeah." It was fucking priceless. It was brilliant, brilliant fucking video. Like, but yeah, embarrassing for that guy, you know what I mean, and just the way he was behaving. Oh, I didn't. Oh, yeah, the man with no name. You can throw it back up. The message, I missed it. But yeah, like I say, that's what they were doing. And I've been out quite a few times with them, and the rapport and the crack with the community, you know, especially like over Remembrance Day at night when everybody was out, everybody, all the boys were drinking, and the support they were getting going by all the bars, and you know, and the people that they help, you know, it's remarkable. And yes, they have stopped. They stopped a man at the Ormo Park, you know, and he was a foreigner, right? And earlier on that day, and it's on my mother's grave. This is the truth. I'm just telling you the truth. I never lie about shit, guys. And this is one of the problems that this is what made the headlines because they asked for identification. They asked to see his name. But what they didn't tell you was earlier on that day in Elmo Park, a guy tried to grab a child. The father chased the guy. The child was well ahead of the parent, and the guy came out of the bushes not knowing that the guy was right behind, and the guy chased the guy, got away. Obviously, he's got his child there, so what? You can't just run after a guy through the Elmo Park. The Elmo Park is one end is the Ravenhill Road, the other end is the Elmo Park. So you've got a loyalist, Republican, Protestant, Catholic, whatever you want to call it. And so later on that night, this guy was hanging about the same place, the same park, pitch black, you know, and they just wanted to get his name, just in case that guy was involved in the earlier incident, and they would have kicked themselves if they had. Because trying to describe these guys, you know, come on, think about it. Okay, describe an Eritrean where it's going to stand out, where you can say it's definitely that one. It's impossible for us to do that. You know, it's impossible. It's impossible for quite a lot of Pakistani men. You know, it's just difficult. You know, to identify people unless they've got scars or a big fucking something. You know, there's it's impossible. So that's what they done. They only done that to find out in case later on something else had happened in the park. At least they had the guy's name who was hanging about the park, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But that was the problem, you know. And the thing is, they videoed everything, guys. They videoed everything, and they put it online. There was nothing illegal done. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, but so now the Catholics, no offense, Catholics, but now the Catholics, or we'll call them dissidents. I don't know who they are now doing the exact same thing in their areas. But you know, God knows what they're up to. You know what I mean? They're saying they're wanting to make their area safe. So maybe they've got a problem with crime. Who knows? But let's see what the papers, because they put it out there. I've shared it on my Facebook. I've screenshotted everything, sent it to everybody it needs to be sent to. So we've got it. You know that they're doing exactly what we're doing. Let's see how the newspapers react. You know, because as you know, the ruffle two tier when it comes to the prods. You know what I mean? This every week there's a story about the Protestant Unionist loyalist community. How do I feel? Freedom Daddy CJ going to pull your hair out your head. It's cold. I don't have much hair on my head, guys. That they be pulling out. So so did I miss this guy's question? I'm terrible for missing questions, guys. All right, Chris, I'm good, mate. Thank you. Stephen Hall heard a guy ringing up his station live. Shifty Sam, how you doing? Good to see you. Okay, I don't think I've missed anything. Okay, covered everything there. Anybody any questions? Donny Thomas doing a great work. Great work. I don't know how many he disappeared for a wee while, so he did. I think, to be honest with you, I think it just gets too much. I can't imagine how hard it was for them boys over there. Danny, Tomo, Tommy, and all them boys. You see what I go through, and you just don't even know the half yet. You just don't know the half yet, like, and so I can understand why anybody would go, you know what, I'm gonna fucking step back from this and, you know, do something different. You have missed my message. Send it again, mate. I will. All right, put your messages up, and I'll read every single one of them from here on in. What are you doing? Yeah. Okay, Luke, well, hey, yeah, what's up, you kid? Mm. You are an athlete. Freedom. Are you an athlete? No, but I've looked after myself, mate, because of the jail. Yeah, I'm fit enough, like, I still do the bag and everything. What do you want me to call? When do you want me to call for a coffee? Send me a message and we'll arrange it, mate. The loyalist deal not of drugs has to do the dissidents, so they are enemies of the people. See, I don't agree with you, mate. I really don't. Like, you got to understand that, there's drugs in every community. And I think we're at the stage now where I can quite confidently say that we do not have, oh, I hate saying it. It's one of the things that I really do hate to say, but our kids are going into your areas, and people say, oh, the loyalists are selling drugs. You know, there might be people connected to people or whatever. There might be selling a wee bit of green or a wee bit of white, but we don't have crack. We don't have smack. We don't have meth. You know what I mean? It's Our areas aren't like that, guys. I promise you. You know, I know. I can tell you with my hand and heart. Any when we hear anybody in our areas that are really bad with drugs, when we speak to them or anybody speaks to them, they go into West Belfast to get them. You know, we know exactly where they go. They go into the Holy Lands. You know, this is where they go. They get their drugs. I could bring people these platforms, young guys. You know what I mean? I need to cover their faces who belong to loyalist families, well known, well established loyalist families, and they might be kids or grandkids who have got drug problems. You know what I mean? And they're going into Republican areas to get these drugs, and that's the truth, guys. You know what I mean? And I hate fucking saying it, but it's the truth. It's something that needs to be sorted out. Right. When do you want? Oh, oh yeah. Just whenever, mate. You can call down now if you want, bro. I can just you don't need to ask. Just if I'm on a live, just come. You know what I mean? You know where I am, bro. Yeah, that's good. Good. I'm glad he's getting. Yep, I know who it is. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. Last time I saw a head of her like that was on a donkey. Yeah, what were you doing to the donkey? Like, you said you would let me. You would let me. You said you would let me. Yeah, good man. Good man. Good man. Why not? What's so, James? Drugs are killing our children and community. Stop it. Yeah, definitely. You know what? Like, I'm against drugs. Um, no, no, you don't either. You see, man, don't know why my name has changed on here. I know everybody's name has changed on it. An 11-year-old girl died from ecstasy the other day. Yeah, yeah. When they had that thing, I think it was a few people died when there was a rave in the falls. I'm quite sure quite a lot happened. 2 seconds, guys. Right, mate? You need a number? What's the number? 33. 33. All right, buddy. Okay, here you go, son. Oh. I don't know what the Three Stooges are. Great Chella. Is that like that wee treehouse thing with all the wee men in it? The name change is doing my head in. I know. I don't know what's happened. Something's happened with YouTube, or they've put like everybody's numbers behind them. 100% freedom, Dad. Well said, mate. Cheers, mate. Test, test. John Wood, test clear. Loud and clear, mate. All right, no, you runner. Do you want to grab me a legator? Omega? Legator of Omega? Seggy. It's a Glasgow. It's like Glasgow. What would you call it? It's like secret talk. Glaswegian talk. So later is legator, and your ma is mega. So you put an egg. So Mark is megarch. You get me? So you put an egg. You put the word egg after the first letter. Yeah. Big Latin. Yeah. That's it, man. That's it. All day. I haven't used it in ages. You know what I mean? They used to stock like that out the windows back in the day, so the screws couldn't understand them. Yeah, you like Glasgow. You're a Glasgow boy. You're half Glasgow. The nice part of it. There's no nice part. South Lanarkshire. South Lanarkshire. Very nice. Yeah, living a state. So what do you want me to grab? I'll later, mate. Right. Cheers, bro. John Rankin, what did you get to eat? I had my dinner was ready when I came home. I had mince pie and champ. Yeah, Quentin. Yeah, you should all be aware of what you're saying. You know what I mean, guys? Yeah, yeah, James, everything's changed. Like, Freedom Dad, you've had the experience. Cheers, bro. You have had the experience in Ulster and how bad it can get, and that is with a population of 1.5 million. When England blows, Northern Ireland will be affected by transport haulage disruption. Yeah, there's big changes coming, guys. You know, but I would sound mad. You know, what I mean, the things that I believe that are coming, you just wouldn't believe it. You know, there's something huge coming. You know, everybody that in the nose talking about it. You know what I mean? What is it? 25, 20, talking about 2027. You know, um, and then you've got the Christian side of things as well. But you know, oh, cheers, thank you. But I will go into that on a video. Cannabis should be decriminalised for personal use. Anything stronger destroys life, communities, and families. Freedom, Dad. Your thoughts and chat. Yeah, cannabis, I think, is a killer. To be honest with you, like I'm not going to kid about with that one. I think long-term cannabis use, from my experience, will with the what do we call them? With the viruses, the flu, the chest, the stuff that's affecting the chest and the breathing. You know, I always think communities and families. Yeah, well, cannabis isn't going to destroy families. Cannabis will destroy the person who smokes it. You know, I do believe that the cannabis goes in the oil in your lungs. You know, I've been around people who smoke cannabis all my life, especially in prison, and I've seen pipes and bongs, and I've seen how quickly the inside of a glass bong or a pipe goes really brown and thick, and pipes. Guys used to make pipes out of foils, little, like, the foil. If you used to get your food in the foil, um, like proper little pipes, and they would put their weed in the pipe and smoke it, and then you would open the foil up, and there would just be a layer of resin, and they would put that resin onto, I shouldn't really be talking about this, you know what I mean? But yeah, if that's what does the foil, if that's where it goes on the glass, and you see filters and everything, well, you can imagine what's in the lungs, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's as good as what people might believe. But yeah, it is legalized. You can get it on a script now. But if you don't have a script and you get caught with it, then you're going to get done for a Class C. Ex Obella, I haven't told anyone what I know other than a very small group. What you know about what's coming. I've smoked it for years, never became any problem. But when it becomes a problem, it's too late, Lady J. Yes, right. You can get it in prescription. Excuse me, guys. No, I'm talking about it's you don't get that anymore. It's all cannabis. It's the leaf now, the bud, whatever you want to call it. It's the plant. You don't. I haven't heard of solid for a long time. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. James is probably. I do believe that as well. But smoking it with tobacco won't help fucking cancer. You know what I mean? That's the problem. But you're right. Taking it the right way could help things like that. James Cahill, my brother, used it. His cancer was gone. Flour. Yes, that's the right word. Flour. Yeah, that's why I say decriminalization, freedom, dad. Yeah. Philip, nationalists don't take drugs. End of. Much love, still suffering addict. 2 seconds. That'll be one. All right, son, just come on in. All good. Wet? Is it wet out there? Freezing. My dog was having fits. I put him CBD dogs more than. Yeah, well, there you go. There's another use for it for dogs. Kangaroo Dick. Hey, YouTube friends, this your friend Dirty Bum in the house. I used to be an alcoholic. Well, that's fucking good. I've got a lot of friends that are alcoholics. A lot of people from back in the day. But an hour. So that's 2 hours, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up and make my good friend here a cup of coffee, tea, coffee. And yeah, so if you want to say cheerio, guys, I'll be back tomorrow night. So, well, I will definitely do a live tomorrow night because it's going to be the night before the storm. So, Stephen Hall, John Ward, good night, mate. Colin, yep, good night. Space Cadet, Lady J, good night. Thanks for coming in as always. Our loyal Lady J. Saxon, good to see. Saxon Pact, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Seiko, Exobella, Wee Bit Bunkers, Kangaroo Dick. Sorry, you're just ending on my way. Why does the Freedom Dad team always end when I arrive? Sorry, mate. Freedom Dad in chat. Buy me a coffee and you'll get an email. Night Freedom Dad from Minecraft. Good to see you, mate. Mason Martin. James Cahill. My loyal James Cahill from the other side of the border. Quintona, Shifty Sam, good to see you coming in. John Capone, thank you, mate. Thank you so much. Great work, Freedom Dad. Thank you, bro. Good, always good to see your name pop up. Enjoy the beer. Enjoy the beer. Yeah. Caitlin, good night, all. That's all, folks. That's from John Rankin. Leslie, Gary Belfast, Philip Thorne. Yeah, you're right there. Gary Belfast, you're right, mate. Ragnar, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Have a good night, bar. Seiko, Sean, always good to have you in, mate. Good night, Gary. Or sure, check. Space to get that. Stephen Hall, Lady J back again to say good night. And I think we will wrap it up, guys. There's a buy me a coffee up. Thank you, James. Whistle and Dixie, good night. John Capone, are you still going live on the drink Sunday? We'll have to wait and see, won't we, guys? Probably not. Good night, Patriotic Media. I hope you're going to Chimney Corner tomorrow. If I don't make it, let me know. Give me a message later, and I'll send a message to all my buy me a coffees that you're going live to try and build it up a wee bit. Good night from West Holistic Guy. Sorry, mate. The names have all changed. Quentin saying good night. So yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. All my love, and I will see you tomorrow night. So I'll probably be in here making sandwiches. We'll be making sandwiches with Freedom Dad tomorrow night. But listen, keep the faith. Remember that we've got plenty of time. We've got the right men saying the right things. We've got all sorts of men in all sorts of different directions. So it's something's going to work. Something's going to work, you know. And if anybody that's involved in doing any of this, support them. And remember that we're taking a lot of flack, and it's the hardest job in the world right now. And yeah, it is difficult. But remember, things, don't lose any hope. It's not as bad as you think, and it's not going to be like England. It's not going to be like Ireland. And we'll burn our houses as we leave. Joke. But that's what they said to me down in Ireland. I'm not gay. What are you talking about, Freedom Dad? I'm sorry, mate. I didn't mean anything like that. If that came across like that. Toodaloo. Toodaloo. From Mercer Check. And yeah, big love to EBFD. And for the men that can't come online. And for the men that can't go to the demos. All respect to all you guys for the effort that you are putting in for this country, for your children, and for my wee lucky. Thank you all so much, and thank you all for following. And I'll be back tomorrow night. So always remember and never forget that we have God on our side. God bless.